Hi, and welcome to Video Chess Lessons with George Krasnopolsky on CheckmatesUSA.com. Today we will be going over the rook and how the rook moves. Now, the rook can be recognized because it looks like a tower or a castle, so please pay attention to the board. We have a white rook on e5 and a black rook on d5. This is how the rooks commonly look on the chessboard. Now, the rook is a very important piece. It is the second most powerful piece. It's worth 5 points, and the only piece that is more powerful than it is the queen. So it's a piece you definitely want to learn how to use and learn how to use well. Now, each team gets 2 rooks. These rooks go on the corners of the board. Take a moment to think about on which squares the black rooks will start on. If you said A8 and H8, you are correct. Now, what squares do the white rooks start on? If you said A1 and H1, you would also be correct. Notice the rooks go on all the different corners of the board, and each team gets 2 rooks to start the game with. The rook moves in a plus sign pattern. So let me explain that a little bit more. Taking a look at our rook on d5, the rook is allowed to go forward, backwards, and sideways. The rook can go to all the squares that I have highlighted. A simple way that I like to remember how the rook moves is with a rhyme. The rhyme goes up, down, side to side. That's the way the rook will slide. And sliding refers to the rook moving more than one square at a time. So once again, you can try it with me. It's up, down, side to side. That's the way the rook will slide. Rooks cannot go diagonally, but they attack the same way they move. So if this white rook sees that there's a black pawn on g5, can it capture it? If you said yes, you would be correct. This rook could go from d5 and capture the pawn on g5. Now remember, just like with the pawn, the rook captures the square and the piece that it attacks. It does not skip over the square. Let's try some other examples. Can this rook from d5 attack the pawn on e4? If you said no, you would be correct. Can the rook on d5 attack the pawn on a5? If you said yes, you would be correct. One other interesting thing that you may want to know about the rook is that it can only capture one piece at a time. Look at the board and notice that this rook, the one that is on d5, can only capture the pawn that's on b5. It cannot capture the pawn on a5 as well in one move. This combination would take 2 moves. In this position, white has the option to capture a black pawn. Can you find out which one it is? If you said that the black rook could capture the pawn on e7, you would be correct. How about now? What if we have this position? Is it worth it for the rook on d3 to capture the pawn on d6? If you said it's not, you would be correct. If this rook moves from d3 and captures the pawn on d6, the pawn that is currently on e7 or the pawn that's on c7 could easily capture him, making this a bad move. You never want to exchange a rook for a pawn because rooks are worth a lot more. That should be all the information you need about the rook. Let's review. The rook is the piece that looks most like a tower or a castle. It is the second most powerful piece. it is worth 5 points, and each team gets 2 rooks to start the game with. They go on the corners of the board. The white rooks go on A1 and H1, and the black rooks go on A8 and H8. The rook moves up, down, side to side, and it can slide, which means it can move more than 1 square at a time. It also attacks the same way it moves. It cannot skip over pieces, and it cannot attack more than 1 piece at a time. That should be all you need to know about the rook. Thank you for listening, and make sure you watch more videos at checkmatesusa.com. This is George Krasnopolsky, wishing you some good chess.